Throughout these lessons, I'm going to be presenting from this presentation by the Naval Center for Combat and Operational Stress. It really kind of goes over what we mean when we talk about stresses among our sailors and Marines and what we can do about it. So let's start with that. So first of all, we lay out in the Navy this stress continuum, going from ready, which is a sailor who is not stressed at all, to reacting, to injured, to being ill. And a couple things to note along here, and we're going to get into each one of these different levels of stress. And first of all, this is a continuum, right? You can be kind of between levels, and there's gradations, right? There's not this automatic change from one to the other. And look, most of the time we're in the ready condition, but as stress starts to increase, and you see here the term stressor, this is a thing that causes stress. So as stress and distress starts to increase, we start to react to that, and look, reacting to it is okay, but then eventually we can get into this injured status and into real illness. And there are different levels of responsibility across this continuum for the commander. Certainly being ready, preparing for stress, dealing with people's reaction to stress, and even the beginnings of their stress injuries fall into unit level and unit commander responsibilities. So as officers, we are responsible for monitoring the status of our sailors and Marines and knowing where they are along this stress continuum, trying to mitigate stress and trying to build resilience. But we can't do everything. And we really have to recognize that PTSD and other outcomes of high levels of stress really require medical help. There's only so much that we can do, and it's silly for us to think that it's within our power, whether that's for ourselves or for our sailors and Marines, to be the ones to stand in and say, we're gonna fix this. This really requires professional assistance from doctors, from nurses, from medical professionals to step in and help with this. So that's a real big takeaway from here is we do absolutely have responsibilities, and there's a time when we need to turn it over. Also, it really takes a team. It's not just the commander's responsibility, it's also the responsibility of everybody in the unit for us to take care of our shipmates and take care of our families to help reduce the levels of stress. And then again, ultimately, we do need sometimes to bring in medical professionals. Let's dive a little bit into what each of these levels of stress are. So first of all, there's green, right? And this is ready. We're calm and steady under pressure. We're confident in ourselves and others, get the job done, sleeps well, maybe uses alcohol, but not excessively, has a sense of humor, right? This is what we're looking for to see that a sailor is in the green. And by and large, particularly when we're not deployed or not getting ready for deployment, our sailors and our Marines will typically be in the green. There are things that can move us out of the green other than combat, other than deployment, and we're going to talk about those a little bit, but by and large, this is kind of our steady state reality. Now, in the yellow, what are the signs that we need to start looking for? A little bit of feelings of anxiousness, fear, sad anger, people who worry a little bit more than usual. They start to cut corners, be short-tempered, really start to not get enough sleep, having trouble falling asleep, eating too much, eating too little, starting to isolate themselves. For some people, it can be a matter of isolation and retracting in on themselves. For other people, it's a matter of being very hyperactive and being almost a beginning of mania, engaging in excessive behaviors. So look, it's really what we're looking for here is out of the ordinary. Where are people's personalities just really being driven to an extreme, and we're starting to see the effects of stress causing them to be out of the ordinary. What we're really starting to see here is the effects of this cognitive load where our brains just can't handle everything that's being thrown at them, and that causes us to have these feelings, and it causes us to have a really hard time processing the world around us and reacting to it. So this might be very low level here in the yellow, and then becomes more and more. This is, again, the reacting zone. This is where we start our interventions to react to someone's stress level. But if left unchecked, it can really start to get bad. Now we have the orange zone, right? And this is our injured sailors. And this is where they're really starting to lose control of their emotions. Their thoughts are just going places. They're having a really hard time falling asleep and may even wake up several times throughout the night or throughout the day, vivid nightmares, intense guilt and shame. And look, it's not all of these things, and there's a long list here. It's not all of these things, but one or more of these combined really start to be the sign that someone's gone from just a typical stress reaction and feeling stressed out to being truly injured. And we really want to start to pay attention here. And then finally, we have the illness zone, right? And this is our sailors in the red, significant distress, and really have stress injury symptoms that worsen over time rather than improve, or that return even after improving. This is where frankly, in the orange zone is where we really need to start involving medical professionals, and then they will make this diagnosis that we have a sailor Marine who's truly ill.